Welcome to New Age
Hi,
Chips,
everybody, and welcome
Avo,
back
what up?
to Friday Night Live.
I ain't even getting to the bed. Nah, I ain't a nigga way. But I am a nigga from the edge. Man, I grew up hopping cabs, running fast, living in these niggas who really think they're some of theirs. On the road, I spent summers there, up north, down south. Yeah,
I'm a little biased. My family.
Even Puerto Rico, networking train. Oh, I will win a whole week without sleep, bro. Straight beast mode. I ain't had a cheat code.
I go by Kojo, High Flow, King Kilo Kojo, but for now, I'm just gonna go with Mr. I Did It in a Day.
Mr. I Did It in a Day. Today is 10/20 and it's a very special day. Why?
Well, once again, it is the main attraction of Royal Ram season. Today is the release of my brand new project titled I Did It in a Day Part 4, and we're here to celebrate.
We are here to celebrate. I'm super excited, like super freaking excited. I've been talking about this for like a week. I'm so like, I'm just pumped. I've been pumped since. Yeah.
I was telling him earlier that I'm finally happy. This is the first time we've ever met, and I'm happy we finally have met because I hear Kojo's name at least once a day. So, you know, actually maybe at the least 3.
Yeah, so I might talk about you just a little bit, you know, whatever. But I feel like it's always all good things.
I was just saying, please.
Yeah, it's always all good things except for the fact of, you know, you'll drive in today.
Oh man, it was rough. Well, I'm listening to music. And I normally don't have these problems, you know what I'm saying? But I was watching, no, I still have these problems a lot. I was paying attention to a lot of different things in the car, TV on, listening to the music, whatever.
Right.
And I did not realize there was a cop. I mean, I seen him, but it was like last minute. So I'm like, oh man, I wasn't going that fast. Yeah, he pulled me over, so I was doing 91. I said, 91. Sir, I don't think I was doing 91. But then he said, would you like a break today, sir? Absolutely, I would. So yeah, we worked it out.
See,
good. Okay.
I feel like that's the good karma in the air behind the project. It's all good energy. So,
right.
You know what I mean? So let's dive in.
There's a lot to dive into.
There is.
First of all, this is I Did It in a Day 4. But can you tell the audience a little bit more about?
Yeah. So originally, I did it in a day. I was doing like a lot of mixtapes in my city.
Okay.
And it got to the point where I'm like, man, this is too easy, man. We just doing this like it's nothing. So I Did It in a Day really spawned out of like a crazy situation. Like I look at at one point in time, I used to get busy on a basketball court, right? So I was playing in this summer league, and we had the team I was playing for, we had lost like the game before the championship. So when we lost, I was just like, it don't matter. I'm putting out some new music, you know what I mean? But just saying it, like in, you know, just throwing it out there. So the championship game was like 3 days later. So at the time I was recording with this guy, and we was like just doing it out of his bedroom. You know, he had a little studio set up there. So I was just like, man, look, this is what we gonna do. I could do a whole mixtape in a day. Like, what? I'm like, yeah, I could do a whole one in a day. So I spent like the next day just writing, but it was all to like industry beats, and it wasn't really formatted. It was just like verses. So it was just like how old mixtapes used to be. You take the most popular beat, you rap over it, a couple bars, and that's it. Mm-hmm. So I ended up doing about like 19 of those, just little raps.
Right.
Went there, laid it all down, had two people come in and do like little features on it. So then what I did was I took a tape recorder around. You know, I wanted to keep it interesting. I took a tape recorder around just all the people in my city who I knew, and I said, yo, can you do a drop for me? Like an intro or something, and everybody shouted me out, whatever. And I put it in between each song. So then we put the project out. I had like t-shirts, you know, to come with the CD. The first 70 people who bought a mixtape, they got a free t-shirt. So it was a company in my city who made t-shirts. They were kind of popular. So I just, you know, advertised it that way. And then from there, it kind of like, you know, the hate thing come. He ain't really doing it today. Yeah, right. So I'm a competitor. So it's like I didn't. So I went back for part 2, but this time I did a DVD with it. I had the whole thing filmed. I had the camera following me from my neighborhood all around my city, drove to the studio, which was in Baltimore, which is like 25 minutes away from where I live. And we filmed the entire process, edited, put it out. And then, like, you know, here we go. That's part 2. I told y'all I did it in a day. But at that same time, I was transitioning because I was doing things in the street and I had gotten into some trouble. So at the end of I did it in a day, part 2, I knew I had a sentencing coming up. So I ended up, getting found guilty, and had to do a little time, then, ended up on house arrest. So I've just thought, man, well, the last thing I did before I got, in trouble was I did it in a day too. So in between on house arrest, I did a mixtape called House Arrest Blues. And then we was like, yo, I should do another did it in a day. Once again, called same camera crew up. This time they filmed me going to the court, getting the ankle monitor to cut off my ankle. We went straight to the studio, recorded the whole project. And then I had a big party.
Right.
So that was all between 2005 and 2009. So just recently, maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, I'm in the studio. And my engineer just was like, man, you should do I Did It in a Day again. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like, for what? And he's like, yo, you missed the wave. When you did it, social media wasn't as popping as it is now. We missed all of that. Like, we can actually live stream it. We don't got to do the renting a camera crew, none of that. So I'm just like, man, that would be tight.
Now, what was the time difference between the I Did It in a Day 3 and 4?
Okay, so the I Did It in a Day 3 was done in 2009. So this is the first one since then.
So this is a long time.
Yeah. So because originally they were 2 years apart.
Right.
05 was the first one, 07, then 09.
Right.
So this one was just like, yo, dang, you're right. Like, we did miss that.
Right.
So now with Facebook Live and all of that, we just thought it was a good idea. Well, he thought it was a good idea. And I'm once again, just always up for the challenge. Like, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I kind of like mentally prepared for it. Like, I'm like really into the greats. So it's just like, Michael Jordan always used to say he wanted to quit basketball because it became too easy. He had to find a way,
challenge himself.
Yeah, right. And this was just like, yo, what if I did it like that? So reached out to a lot of different artists in my city, a lot of the artists that I was working with, and we crunched down a lot of people that I met along the way from different parts of the area of the world, and we all came together and we pulled it off. But the whole key was it had to be bigger than everything I've ever done. And that was the whole goal behind this one. And I was just like, man, it's gonna be hard to top. I sold out like over 500 people at this event for Did It in a Day 3.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like a lot of people came out because I was fresh off of house arrest. It was all of that. So it was just like, how could we make this bigger than that? And I was a part of a tour. So in this 24 hours, and this was the first time all the studio sessions were like 10 hours long, 14 hours long that we did it in. Previously, this was a real 24-hour studio session. We started at 4:40 a.m. and went until 4:40 a.m. the following day. And in between that, I had interviews. I had 2 shows in 2 different cities. But even when I left, my engineer and other artists were still at the studio recording. So the studio session never stopped. It really went for 24 hours, man.
Wow.
And at the end of it, over 35 tracks were recorded, and we had to pick. And then a bunch of cypher verses from different kids. So, man, this was a blessing, really. Yeah. Oh, and not to mention, we video.
Oh, wow. During that 24-hour period.
And released it within that 24 hours.
And Tayla, you were there. What was this? I'm an oddball. I wasn't there. You guys, what was this like?
It was so, like I said, close, near and dear to my heart. But like the work ethic out of everybody that was a part of it, shout out Bona, because like I couldn't, which is the engineer, I could never do that. What he did, I don't know how. What you did, I don't know how y'all did it, because I went off, took a nap. But the energy alone was enough to make. You know what? No, but the energy alone was just something crazy. Like, so it was just full. It made you want to get up. Like, you know what I mean? It was 24 hours, but it didn't feel like 24 hours. They were in there like just. It was insane. I literally, and I'm not saying it because I'm biased, I've never seen nothing like it. Just the amount of work that went into it, like, and just talk for a minute. Just talk about what the prep time and what that looked like. Because people still to this day, when I say he recorded like over 30 songs, people are like, no, there's no way. I'm like, but it really happened. So like, just talk about what that day looked like for you. Like, now that it's done and you can reflect on it, what was that like for you? Because I know there was a lot of.
Well, the blessing was there was a lot of people who played a major role, right? And once again, just me. And let's not leave out the only place you could get Chick-fil-A on a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
We had
This
Chick-fil-A
man
on
had
Sunday.
Chick-fil-A delivered on a Sunday.
Yeah, so we had Chick-fil-A on a Sunday.
Wow.
But,
So we're breaking all kinds.
Yes.
We going in. Really, the whole thing was we had a board. We got a board and we wrote all the tracks. Well, Tayla wrote all the tracks on the board. Like, this is what we need to do. And a lot of it was like, you know, kind of like preparing just between me and the engineer and me and other artists who I knew like was going to be featured on certain songs. Like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We had the concepts and the songs prior to, you know, going into, you know, actually recording.
So you knew what you wanted to write about.
Yeah, no, we actually, so the songs, a lot of the songs were already written.
Already written, okay.
Yeah, so it was just like the execution was, how am I going to record all of these songs? But not just record all of these songs. I still have to leave Baltimore County and drive to Baltimore City to do a show. Right. And then drive back to the county to do the studio session, and then leave from there and then drive to DC to do a show.
And a music video as well. Yeah,
and drive back. And we shot the music video right at the studio. So all of these things just was transpiring right there on the spot. So the prepping was really just between me and the engineer. We had all the beats picked out, we had all the concepts, the songs, ideas, and from everybody else just had to execute. And one of the things, like, you know, was a little riff at one point in time, because, you know, I didn't want to not get it completed. So I'm telling, you know, everybody, like, man, y'all gotta have this killer instinct. I'm walking around with, I need everybody to be on, have their kill switch on. I don't know, it was a Lil Wayne documentary he had did back when he was killing everything.
Right.
And I believe it was like some of the artists that he had was like in there, like late, and I just was inspired by it. He's like, y'all shouldn't sleep right now. History's being made. You don't want to miss this. And that's kind of how I felt about like this Did It in a Day project. And involved and, you know, hit me up and told me like, man, we really enjoyed ourselves, appreciated it, and gave a lot of artists a platform that they may not have had any other way. So today is just like everybody's birthday for real. This is like a gift right here. Right.
So now everybody gets to see it come into full swing and see the finished product. Well, what I want to know is taking it back to after the first one. What was the, I mean, you said that you came back to do I Did It in a Day 2 because people didn't believe that you did it the first time.
Right.
What was the change? I mean, how did people's attitudes about you as an artist change after they saw, okay, he really did this in a day?
So in my city, but a lot of places, what seems to happen is when you represent something like, in a sense, negative, right? Like I had a persona and a reputation that kind of followed me doing that. I Did It in a Day 1 just because of what I was involved with. And it's so easy to be a part of something negative, just, you know, keep it 100. Right. So I had a lot of people kind of just following my lead. And then when I did part 2, it was the same thing. It's like, for whatever reason, let's be attached to, like I said, the guy who's catching charges. We seen his name in the paper. It seems gangster. I liked it. Oh, that's tough. You know what I'm saying? Right. So everybody was a part, wanted to be a part. So it was all love. But like I said, the thing just was like, how they say, everybody want to see you do good, but never better than them. So a lot of rappers were artists and performing and doing things, but it's just like, that Did It in a Day kind of was the first thing that really set me apart. Just like, what? So when part 3 ended up coming, it was like my mindset had changed because I had months prior watched my mom cry in the courtroom. So I already knew I couldn't revert back to the same things I was doing. So it became a business move more than I'm gonna just do this for my hood. I'm gonna just do this for my city and do it in the city. So that's why this, like I said, this Did It in a Day 4 is like such a big thing, because being able to pull people from different places and not just include my city, because those original ones was really like just like cats around my way. And like I said, it's on YouTube, so, you know, people could see it like, oh, this really happened. So yeah, that was really just the change. Really doing I Did It in a Day finally kind of was the breaking point to say, oh, he's serious about this. He's not just a rapper.
And you're building more of a national audience now.
Yes.
And you're on your 4th I did it in a day.
Right.
I mean, with pulling these other artists from different cities and around the country, I mean, do you think that it's the transition that people saw of you? I mean, as an artist, while doing this in front of the camera, people are seeing you do this. I mean, do you think that it's contributed to a lot of this?
Yeah, and just the grind. We turned what the last 2 years. I went from, you know, just gigging wherever I could, here and there, doing shows, to like I just had I won't call it my come to God moment, where I just was like, I'm gonna do 150 shows next year, you know, this year. And I really set out to do that. And I ended up doing 111.
Right.
And that was, it was just like, oh, let's get right back to it. So I credit, like, you know, people taking notice more to the fact that, man, we're seeing him even more. Because once again, it was one thing to just go in the studio and record these projects, but it's another thing that have that personal interaction. Like, you see me at a show, it's a different thing.
Right.
That's crazy. It's crazy. Like, and a lot of people don't know the background between how he and I met, but like his music is like, it transcends like over so many different levels, but like the interaction is something that I feel like makes you unique as an artist. Cause like when I first saw him perform, I had no idea who he was. Never seen him, never heard of him. I was at an award show with my business partner. Never seen him, never heard of him, didn't know anything about him. When he left the stage, I searched for him for, what was it, 2 or 3 days? I was like, somebody has to tag him, tag him, know who he is, but I need to find him and just tell him that his music resonated with me.
And what era was this from? This is obviously from the third one, I would assume. From day 3?
No, this was completely unrelated to.
Yeah, this was it'd be 2000. So that was in the middle. Like I said, I did it in the day 3 in 2009,
right?
And this came out here in 2017.
It was in the gap.
So
it was in the gap.
Yeah, so we met. What, 2015, 14, somewhere.
I think it was the end of 2014, maybe beginning of 2015. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, but just the stage presence, and not even just the stage presence, but the content and the way that you relate to your audience. How do you continue to do that? Like, even just watching you, like, I'm always amazed at how do you continue to do that?
Well, I look at like, I had a lot of time to think when I was going through my go-through with the legal situations. So when I finally landed on house arrest, YouTube became my like best friend. And I watched, I believe, every T.I., Tupac, Jay-Z show, and I'm just like studying, like, man, he does that. Oh man, he just talking to him. Dang, but Tupac resonates, and they all like got different things about him that was just like things that I wanted to incorporate in like my performance. So what I did was, I always had like energy. We was just on the way here watching. I had a bunch of people on stage, was my go-to thing. I'm gonna just bring all my boys up there. We gonna wild out. If they having a good time, the crowd having a good time, and that'll be it. But when I know I wanted to get taken more serious as an artist, it was just like, okay, now I'm gonna have to find a way to show my talent, and not with just having the hype of the big crowd. So what I decided to do was had content in the music, but I decided to turn it up a notch. Like, telling myself I got a responsibility as an artist to not just be in here saying turn up with it, you know, all of that. I gotta really give these, not just the kids, but anybody in the crowd, something to like focus on. So I hit this DJ up from Virginia, and I asked him, I'm like, man, you know, on MySpace, I hit him up and I said, listen, you got that hot radio show, I want to get my music on there. And I knew him, we had a relationship, like, because I knew one of the artists he was working with. And he just told me the realest thing. He was just like, nobody's gonna give you nothing just because I know you. Right. And I kind of took that to the heart, and I'm like, oh, all right, so I'm gonna make sure that, you know, like, don't give me nothing, just pay attention. And once again, that was 2009. So I just was honing all of these things and my skills and just getting it together. So I ended up on his show. We would see each other in passing, but like I said, just never got to get on that hot show. But I knew I was making waves because I would tell myself, everybody else is coming in clubs in different places just to turn up and have a good time, which I'm all for. But I'd be doing y'all a disservice if I don't give y'all the absolute truth. Right. So I started breaking out to these extremely personal songs that I know other people have been burst to talk about and tell people about my family, about people who I know personally. Once again, I changed names for the people I knew personally, but anything that's involved with me personally directly, I just want to give you that. So even if you don't like me, you'll say, man, that dude told us about, his husband was getting high in their house. Man, he talked about how they were so poor he couldn't afford different things. And a lot of people say and talk about but I turned it into this and I turned it into. But no, I'll leave it there and just tell you because it's somebody like me everywhere in the world. So I just want to relate to those people who may have gone through those type of things. So that was my whole aim. Like, I just want to touch your heart. Like, anybody can make you dance. Any beat can make you dance. But I want you to be able to walk away with it and say, I felt it. I believe them. We connected.
Deeper than that. Right. Well, can you tell us, a little bit more about the content and what drives your lyrics and your music?
Yeah, life. Man, I say this a lot. Once again, I will explain to you about what I was going through during those 2000, did it in the day 2 and 3. My mom had this saying. She used to always say, I raised 3 kids in one of the roughest neighborhoods in the city on my own. And I never had to go to jail. I never had to go to the police station for none of them. And they all graduated high school. That was her accomplishment. There's not too many people who grew up in the neighborhood that I grew up in who could say that.
Right.
So that was, her pom-pom cheering. We didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of nothing, so that was one of her things she hung her head on, that away from her. So when I thought about those moments, and I don't know if y'all remember the Biggie song when he said, my mom smiled every time my face is up in the source. I'm just like, I got to give my mother that moment, but there's no way I can give her that back because I already took her everything from it. So mission to, I'm putting my all into this music. I'm giving you these stories. I'm giving you this because even though that thing that I did prior still sets with her, right. If I could alter somebody else from making some of the choices I made by kind of scaring them straight, no, this is what happens when you go that road. This is what happens. This is the outcome. Then that'd be the goal. So that's where the content is really built from. It's just like I said, I got the turn up music, I got all of that, but I can't give you one without giving you the other.
Right.
It's just,
And that's honestly for me a big difference from a lot of the music that we hear and see now. Do you think that modern music now and hip hop and rap is kind of traps youth?
Man, shout out to the artists who are giving, both sides, the J. Cole's, Chance the Rappers, right. Kendrick's, the new Jay-Z album. Shout out to everybody who is making it their business to also give the other side. Once again, I don't downplay anybody's creativity because once again, I can't knock it because I was there. I understand, I get it. But I just feel like the more and more we grow, the more and more we see, we're maturing ourselves. Jay-Z said one time when Jim Jones was dissing him, my man, you making songs for 12-year-olds. You're a grown man. Jim Jones is still dropping songs like na 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 na. It's who are you trying to capture? What audience you trying to capture with that? So that be my whole thing. It's I'm trying to just target my audience, and not only target my audience, but even the people who may be too young to understand or get exactly where I'm coming from, right. At least plant the seed, right. So that at some point they could be like, oh, that's what he meant. Oh, that's what he's getting. Because if I don't say anything, it's just I'm just as bad.
Right. Well, what is your target audience?
My target audience for me is, I really feel like it's the world. Yeah. Because the world is so corrupted, everything going on now. And anybody who's willing to listen and possibly make the change, because, Pac was also screaming thug life and West Side and hit him up and all that. But he also told you keep your head up. Brenda's got a baby. And all of these things, dear mama. And that's what I'm trying to do. I want to make that music that penetrates culture. I don't care where you live, on Mother's Day, at some point, Dear Mama is coming on the radio somewhere.
Right.
And a lot of these cats just want to be the fly-by-night. We'll have the hottest song right now, and we'll forget your name by next year. And I'm just trying to etch my legacy and my name in history to make sure my name's never forgotten.
Yeah,
that's it.
And I know, like in one of your songs, one of the lyrics is, "I give you what's inside of me to touch what's inside of you." So at the end of your show, you get those people that come up to you. What is that feeling like? Because I know it happens to you a lot. I've seen it. I've caught it on tape.
Man, I get kind of shy about it for real, because once again, in my city, you don't get a lot of, when you making the music that I make, it ain't like a all-out fanfare all the time. So when I get those moments where I know my music connect, like I know that's the goal, that's what I'm aiming to do. But when it happens, it's like, man, like we were in Ohio, and I opened up for Cassidy, and I had this record that I do called Story to Tell. And once again, about a young girl named Megan. Once again, changed the name to protect the innocent. But I just, you know, how she was raped and by a family member. And once again, I do this song a lot. I always get people to say, "Oh man, good job," whatever. But this particular day, there was a young lady who I'd never met who walked up to me and was just like, "I'm Megan. My name Megan." And she liked that song, just, you know, touched my spirit. She was like, because I was being raped from the time I was 8 till I was 12. And it was just like, when you make a connection like that, a stranger decides to come up to you and tell you their personal business in that type of way. That's how I know, like, man, this thing is working. And it ain't a gimmick, because I'm giving you mine, and she just felt compelled to give me hers. So it was just like, man, like no amount of, that's priceless. No amount of money, no amount of fame, Instagram likes or files could ever match like how that felt for me to, you know, get that type of love. It was beyond anything I ever imagined.
Yeah. Not only do you want to target your audience, you want to impact your audience.
Absolutely.
Well.
Penetrate culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to take things away from the music real quick, because her and I had an interesting topic for our segment. Let's talk about it at the beginning of the show.
Let's do it.
What do you think about dating a stripper?
Herself through college.
I love it.
She's stripping to put herself through college.
So, dating a stripper. And I know. Like I know,
you know she's a stripper.
You know she's a stripper.
But she is stripping to put herself through college.
What college does she go to? Let's say she goes to something expensive.
Let's say she goes to, like, let's say Robert Morris, because I know what that bill looks like.
Okay, so she's stripping to put herself through college. I can't do it. I couldn't do it. I can't date the stripper, but
hey, at least you're honest.
Yeah,
right?
but what I can do is, once again, try to be that influence on, you know, one, I can't relate. I've never been a stripper in my life. I don't know what happens for you to get to that point. Right. Well, hold on, I don't want to say I've never been, because I'm for a person, you know, for a significant other of mine, if she wants to. Right, no, not just.
It's almost like everybody's.
Yeah, just not a public.
Yeah,
just not for the public, not for the public, not for just anybody, not for dollar bills.
Right.
But as far as me dating the stripper, wouldn't be me. But what I would do, like I said, is just offer, you know, words of encouragement.
Would you put a rhyme on her? Would you spit some bars to her?
I probably wouldn't spit bars, but I've known some strippers, so you know who's gotten out of stripping. So yeah, if I can point her to the exit quicker, I'm gonna point her to the exit quicker.
Right.
She ain't gotta ride down the highway that long. The next exit is good.
Right. Wow. Okay, that's. I
can respect that one.
Yeah, you can't argue.
Then he has a pretty good moral compass.
Exactly.
So I can't bash him. Yeah. So we'll give you a pass for your answer. Some of the others won't get a pass.
Oh wow. Okay, back to the music though. I did it today for. Why do it again? I mean, you did it 3 times. You proved your point. At this point, people know that you can do it, and you did do it. why it just released today? What do you want people to take
away from it? What?
One, did it simply, like I said, the competitive spirit. I know if I had said, I ain't doing it, I ain't gonna do that, my engineer would have probably been like, you can't do it no more. You know what I mean? It's just that, you know, so one, to kill him from being able to say that. The other thing is, it was an opportunity because there's been a disconnect, like I said, in my city as far as the artists or whatever. And it's one of the projects that I always incorporate a bunch of artists on. So it was kind of like just to bring unity also. And even with, like I say, the image on the front of the cover with all these pictures, it's just a reflection of all the times when I did do it prior, and then just reflecting on life, just a bunch of things happening and changing, and you know, moving into the new year, and planning to make new and bigger, you know, moves. It's just like, yo, this would be a fun, dope thing to do. So it's like, let's get it.
Right. And I don't see that not happening in your future.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
very
it.
Dedicated.
Yes, sir.
I gotta point out something because I know people ask me about it all the time. So I know the answer. But why do we wear the crown?
For that reason alone. I want to, just to create the conversation, one, I put the crown on. One, I really do feel like, you know, I'm a king.
Absolutely.
But also, with everybody being rappers, performers, and doing different things, it's just like, what's going to make you stand out? So I just felt like, yo, I'm going to wear this crown. I had like a vision, you know, one of my friends passed away, and like, I really he didn't say wear a crown, but he did, like, I was going through a tough time, and he did come like in a dream, like, you're the king, like, you know who you are, like that. And it wasn't even on a music tip. It was just like, don't let nothing break you down. And then when I just woke up, it just felt like, oh man, I wonder what I'm gonna do. Said I'm the king, like, you know. So it was just trying to really pay homage to the dream I had, and then it was just like, man, if I get a crown, and it started off with just like, you know, a cheesy like little gold crown, like boom, boom, boom. Then it was just like, it started getting like noticed, and it was like, man, I must just get one every color. I'm gonna wear it with everything I got, you know. So I started changing the colors and just buying them as much as I could and spray painting them, and you know, I would go different places, and it was instantly working. I could go in anywhere, and somebody would be like, can I take a picture with your crown on? Or why you got that crown on? It's your birthday. As soon as you say that, that means you open it up for conversation. Now I can tell you, I'm a hip hop artist, I do music, I wear the crown because I'm the king. And now it's just like, oh really? So now we having that dialogue about why I wear this crown. And
we didn't get to see the crown today. Where's the crown today?
Oh, it's in the car.
We need a black and gold one. This is Pittsburgh. You got to show some. I mean, we got a black and gold.
Yeah. We'll take
I got a Pittsburgh repping Pittsburgh a little bit.
Yeah. I wish we had more time. I really do, because I could stay here forever.
Yeah.
But
hey, we could do it in a day. We could do it in a day.
Did a day 24-hour live stream.
Tayla and Royce did it in a day.
But before we go, snapshot. What can they expect from the album?
My life up to this point. A lot of things that happened, you know, from literally day one, like the record Good Morning, which the video's out now on YouTube, but it's the intro to the entire project. A good time and all of that, but like I said, the majority of it is my life, my story, and music.
Absolutely. Well, why don't you tell them where they can find it?
You can find I Did It in a Day 4 everywhere on all your music streaming platforms: Tidal, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, Google Play. We also got hard copy, so anybody out there paying attention, you can hit me up at Kojo440. Once again, it's at Kojo440 on all social media platforms. And man, if I'm in your area, I'm gonna pull up.
Yes. Well, I'm ecstatic. If you haven't heard the album, download it now.
Yeah.
And we will have you back soon. You know I can't keep you away.
Right.
I just want to say thank you for driving in.
Yes,
it's been
thank you
great.
for coming to talk. Make our Friday night a little more live.
Yeah, right.
Friday Night Live.
Friday Night Live.
Friday Night Live.
Well, that brings us to the close of the show.
Oh,
oh, we can't forget. We got something spectacular going on tomorrow. What's tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, we are going to have the official I Did It in a Day 4 versus project release party at FIMS. 6880 Forward Avenue, Pittsburgh, midnight. I'm telling you, that stage is gonna be lit. Hey, when I tell you,
Star-studded.
It's gonna be a movie. I promise. I brought my family out here with me from Maryland, so we definitely gonna come in and have a good time. And all my Pittsburgh family who always show me love, I know y'all gonna be in the building. Dynasty ENT gonna be in the building, and we gonna turn up. As I always do at this time. Yeah.
All right. That's it. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. It has been another Friday night.
Yes.
And it is that time.
It is that time. We'll see you guys next week for more fun in the sun.
More fun in the sun. And as always, if you want to keep up with us, worldwideradio.com is our website. IG and Twitter, GMW Radio. And you can download our Android app at the Google Play Store. And again, if anybody was interested in picking up either one of these albums, our previous guest, Devon Daniil.
Yes.
And Mr. Kojo himself. You can get those on all of your music access.
And anybody in Pittsburgh, we are here for the weekend. So hit us up and we're going to pull up on you.
Absolutely. And I'm getting ready to pull up to my mattress. So everybody, Friday Night Live is over now and we will see you next week.
Yeah.